Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the F word.
The F word?
You guessed it, finances. Now my very first video, which is my intro video, I mentioned some topics that I will be talking about and developing content for, and that was one of them. And I figured that this would be a good time to do this while everybody is shut in, reevaluating their lives, and all that jazz, right? Also, if you have not done it already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Follow your girl. Hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be notified as soon as new content is released, be sure to hit the bell, okay? And I also want to go ahead and tell you to grab you something to write with, something to write on. As you can see, I have my notepad here because we are going to talk about a plethora of information. It's not going to be too long, but it's definitely something you want to remember and have it in your repertoire. And before we go forward with the content, I wanted to show you a video of a pastor that I follow by the name of Todd. He has been doing a series called Secure the Bag, and this past Sunday he did a message and he said some very relevant things, and I felt like just showing a short clip of what he talked about with you all. So if you just hold tight for a second, I'll be back with you, okay?
He said, I want you to organize what doesn't seem like enough. Some of y'all right now, God is asking you not to figure out how it's all going to work out. He's like, get the bills in order. He was like, know how much you actually owe. Do you know when you get out of your car payment? Do you know how much you have to pay to be out of your school loan? Do you know what your kid needs? Do you know what you need to fix your credit when your parents used your name when you were young to get ahead and they jacked it up? Do you know? Get in order what doesn't seem to be enough. And he says, make them sit down in group of 50. And then a miracle's about to happen.
You better preach.
He was basically saying, no matter how much money you think you have or how little money you think you have, it's time to get those things together. And I think that what more perfect time than now to do that while we are not busy in the streets running to and fro, to sit down and intently and thoroughly look at our finances. I also want to shout out my girl, TheSavvySpecialist.
So you guys, Shar is a lover of all things beauty, right? Like, she has content on makeup, perfume, hair, all the things, right? So be sure to go to her page and like and subscribe. There's also a video we did back in January on finances. I'll link that down below. Be sure to check her out.
Right now, the federal government has lowered interest on federal loans to 0%. So that's mortgages, private loans, bank loans, all those loans have low interest rates at the moment. But what good is that if you cannot secure the loan? And what I mean by that is making sure that your credit is in order. Not only should you have a good credit score, you should have a good debt-to-income ratio. What is a debt-to-income ratio? Debt-to-income ratio is basically showing how much money you have coming in every month and every year versus how much money you actually owe. And that is your debt-to-income ratio. You can have an excellent credit score, but that means nothing if your debt-to-income ratio is high. Banks won't normally lend to you or lend a lot of money to you if you have over 35%, I think. Don't quote me on that, but you definitely don't want to have no more than or any more than 50% debt ratio. You don't want to have half and half. You want to have less than that. I know that for a fact. We want to know what our credit scores are. We also want to know what's all on our credit. Like he said, do you know when you're going to be making your last payment on your car? Do you know how much money you owe in student loans? Do you know these things? All that will be listed on your credit report. And you can also find out if there are things that are on there that should not be on there. I know some years ago, I went looking for a car. they pulled my credit report and they said that I had 3 credit cards that I was not aware of. And apparently my social security number was used to open some accounts. Yeah, I was pretty mad.
Not just mad, I was livid.
You want to get a credit report to look at your credit score and to see what you have opened up and how much you owe people. You want to make sure that nobody else has stolen your identity and are benefiting off of your credit score. The other thing I want to tell you all to do is to look at your W-4. A lot of times people have been on jobs for years and years and years and they never revisit that. The W-4 is the paperwork or a part of the paperwork that you fill out when you first start a job. A lot of times people have gotten married, have gotten divorced, gotten remarried, had kids then gone to college, have grown up, and they have never looked at their W-4 ever again. So either they're paying too little or too much, and a lot of times it's too much. And if you are getting a huge refund every year, that means you are giving the government too much money more times often than not. Okay, and a lot of times people are using that as a forced savings as well, meaning they know they're overpaying. In a little spot where they ask you, do you want to withhold an extra amount out of your check? You have people that actually do that purposely because they don't have enough discipline and trust to do what they need to do with the money themselves. And that's not going to be us, is it, my friends? No, we're going to get some discipline together. We're going to come up with a plan for our money and not just lend it to the government for them to get interest off of it. Years ago, they actually issued a statement saying that it's better to not use the W-4 as a forced savings. They say that it's better to take that money and put in a savings account for yourself or pay down debt with that extra money that you'll be giving in to them or even invest it. So why not take the information that they've said themselves and the money that you have earned now, why not get it now and do what you need to do with it? Okay, so we want to revisit our W-4. Another thing we want to do is evaluate our cash flow. What are we spending? What are we making? Some people just go through life getting money and spending money, getting money and spending money, and not really thinking about what they're doing. They're just living for the day. They don't have any plans for the future, right? Unless it's short term for a vacation or something, and maybe not even that. But we want to look at our expenses. And in order to create cash flow is basically the movement of money. And sometimes the cash flow is negative, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's a little, sometimes it's a lot. But regardless of what it is and what category you fall into, you want to look at that. There are some expenses that are unnecessary. You may be paying $230 for cable. Why? You can't watch 800 channels at once. You know, you may be going out to eat for lunch every day at work. Why? When you can cook at home and take lunch every day and save that money. You may be just blowing money. It's being used any and every kind of way and there is no direction for it. So we want to give our money direction. Okay, and we want to increase our cash flow. So we want to look at what we're paying now, where are some ways where we can cut back and scale back on to help increase the amount of money that we have coming in versus going out. Now with that also, we're talking about cash flow. We want to look at possibilities for opportunities for multiple streams of income. This may be taking on a side gig, a business with a network company, or just making money off a hobby or something that you enjoy doing. If you have something that you enjoy doing, have a skill at, you can monetize it, why not do that? That's an extra stream of income. And at this time, while you got all this time, because you're not in the streets running around, running everywhere, you have to sit still, what better times to look at what you have yourself and can use to produce some extra income. And when we're talking about multiple streams, one of the stories in the Bible that I'm reminded of is the widow woman that was in a lot of debt. And because she was in a lot of debt, they were on their way, the people, government, tax collectors, were on their way to take her son, because at that time, if you could not pay, somebody had to work that off. And that was slavery known in the Bible, okay? One of the forms. And they were coming to take her son, and Elisha, the prophet, I believe it was Elisha, came and asked her and inquired about her situation. He asked her what of value did she have in her house, and she said nothing. All she had was a small jar of oil. Now, oil was very, very, very valuable back then, okay? So, being that she said it was a small amount, it was enough. He told her to take that oil and go get empty vessels from her neighbors, to go and see where she can pour the little small jar of oil into. And as long as she was pouring into empty vessels, it multiplied. And that was a miracle within itself. So what I always take away from that story is the fact that we all have something in our house, something that we possess within ourselves, within our reach, to help bring about income. Like I said, it can be a hobby. It can be something that you're just skilled at, something that you just enjoy doing, but people will pay you to do it. This is the time to tap into that. Last but certainly not least, I want us to look at making some plans, some deadlines. Sometimes we have things that we want to do in life, but there's no planning behind it. And a goal without a plan is nothing more than a wish. I heard that said by somebody. That is not my words. I don't want to take credit for it. But I'm going to say it again. A goal without a plan is nothing more than a wish. There's been talks about stimulus checks being issued out. There's been talks about student loan debt cancellation. If those things do indeed happen, what plans do you have for that money? And not even just for that money, what plans do you have for the money that you have right now? A lot of times we don't think about the future. We don't even, some of us don't even have life insurance. And that in itself is a whole nother thing. We want to make plans for our money. And it's been said time and time again, plan for what you pray for. If you really say that you want these things, that you put on your vision boards every year, make plans for it. If it was to drop in your lap today, would you be prepared to capitalize on it? Which brings me to the real title of this video, which is to capitalize on the crisis and not to let the crisis capitalize on you. At this time, being that we're stuck in the house, a lot of times crisis produces panic. Crisis produces the urge to want to eat more, buy more, do things that we normally wouldn't do. But I encourage you all to use this crisis to fuel you in making more positive changes in your life. Yes, you can use this time to do some things that you hadn't done or not necessarily would have done on your own. And it should be positive. How's it building you? Or how's it building or pushing you towards your goals? Or are you taking time to spend more time with your family? Are you paying attention to your finances? Are you working on this side job? Are you working on that book that you've been trying to get done the past 10 years? What are you doing with this extra time that you have? And some of us, this is a wake-up call because there's been a lot of people that have lost jobs or their pay has been decreased because their jobs are shut down right now. And everybody is not getting paid sick leave, unfortunately. So this is a time to really evaluate what are some things you can do to better your finances. And those that are interested in credit education, I can link the information in my description box that will give you information on how to learn how to repair your own credit. So instead of paying bukus of money for somebody else to do it, you'll be surprised how much you can do with your own two hands, your own two eyes, and your own brain in order to increase your credit score. If you have any questions, if you want me to do a video on anything else or get any other information or even have a guest in regards to some things, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. I will definitely get back with you. I appreciate you all stopping by and viewing my channel. Again, I am Vakisa, aka VJ, and you have just viewed another video with glasses and grades with VJ. I will see you all next